The Todd Shapiro Show.
Time to hit the button!
On Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.
All right, Jeff Stevens, how are you, sir?
Hey, Todd, doing well, thanks. How are you, bud?
Good, man. And we've gotten to know Jeff over the years. He used to be a big part, and still is, of Data Metrics, and now Jeff is the CEO of a company that I'm on the board of directors of, actually. Recently named CEO of Graph Blockchain. And Graph Blockchain, as a privy board member would know, is sort of making some acquisitions and doing different things and sort of slowly getting into the esports world. And I thought I'd bring on my man Jeff to talk a little bit about that, because it's very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Todd, and it's great to be back on the show. Thanks very much. As you mentioned, we're very excited to take Graph Blockchain from being a pure play blockchain solutions provider in sort of the large enterprise space and turning that tech and focusing on the e-gaming space, as you mentioned. So we're really excited. We signed a binding LOI, and I know last time I was on your show we talked acronyms, so I'll explain that. It's a letter of intent. So we signed that deal with an e-gaming company called Blockchain Innovations. And the idea there is they have a solution that is used for seamless wagering on real-time sports and gaming opportunities. So they use what's called Pebblecoin, which is built purposely for the gaming industry, and it allows for instantaneous real-time wagering and transfer of money with all the benefits of the blockchain, as your viewers, I'm sure, and your listeners are aware of through all the various experts you've had on the show talking about blockchain.
Well, that's very exciting stuff. How does it, in terms of business, and people wondering, when you get in touch with these companies, maybe you hear that an acquisition could be done. And again, I obviously am privy to those conversations, like I said, but maybe explain the business side of things where it's like, hey, a light bulb went off, and this was a really good fit for everybody.
Yeah, well, we're very fortunate. I've got with me in the room today Michael Frank, who works very closely with us at both Data Metrics and Graph Blockchain.
Hey, Todd, how are you?
Good, man, good. Thanks for joining us on air as well, Michael.
And through one of your fellow board members, we were introduced to Blockchain Innovations and their wholly owned company, the Games Company, as an opportunity, and definitely seeing the fit with, as I said earlier, the blockchain portion, but also the energy and excitement that is in the entire gaming space, from fantasy to esports, e-gaming, right through to the traditional gaming side. So, from that perspective, the opportunity was presented to us. We looked at it from the management level, discussed it at the board level, and determined that it was certainly worth taking a swing at and trying to incorporate that vertical in with the traditional vertical we have, and then diversifying the risk of the company for our shareholders by having two different revenue streams.
Yeah, it's definitely an amazing industry. Do you know much about the actual gaming industry itself and stats and why this is a really important acquisition because of the amount of sort of users?
Well, I'm certainly not the expert on it yet. I've been immersed into it in the last little while, but we know certainly the entire gaming universe is predicted to be much larger than the traditional game universe. There's seen some articles suggesting the NFL in 20 years won't exist. Certainly not the way we know it now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe that. I think human beings, back from the Roman days, like to have a little bit of bloodlust and like to see that. But I think it's going to change, and you're going to see the way people consume sport. They'll be much more active and involved in it rather than just being a passive, participant watching it. They're going to be involved, and that's going to be involved in whether it's wagering or AR, VR, being involved in it in that perspective. So I think we're just at the beginning stages of this exciting opportunity.
Well, Pebble. Oh, sorry, Michael. Go ahead. Yeah.
Just to add to that, what Jeff said, obviously we are very intrigued by the company because it has pretty strong content in terms of, the games it's developed, and obviously combining that with, payment mechanisms on the blockchain is very advantageous. And, the industry is, quite explosive. And what was very intriguing is the relationships they have right now with third parties in terms of, getting product to market. They have clients like, DraftKings, Lotto Quebec, William Hill in Europe. So that was, very intriguing for us to sort of to delve in deeper and move forward on it because, so those are some of the bigger names in the gaming space.
Absolutely, massive names, and really the Pebble coin, really, which is it's and this is from the research that I know, which began as sort of a smart contract and wagers and stuff, is really so important because it sort of ensures a lot of not only just sort of the transparency aspect, but the safety of wagers. So where people can't get screwed over at all. I just think it's a brilliant move, guys, and one that I think a lot of people within gaming or betting, you just want to ensure that everything is on the up and up, and this just guarantees that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you feel that way as a board member, and also I'm thrilled to hear that you feel the same way we do. I think the opportunity with blockchain in multiple applications is very, very large, and this is one, and we think it's an exciting one. So, just to recap, our core business, we do solutions. We've signed contracts with Samsung, LG, and Hyundai, and now, as Michael pointed out, DraftKings, William Hill Online, Lotto Quebec. So, we're really trying to position for a young company with a small market cap, really large opportunities. And it takes time, but I think we've got the right, recipe here, and we're really keen to sort of take this and move it forward to that next step.
Michael, did you want to jump in there? Michael Franks?
Yeah, no, I mean, just as I mentioned before, I know Jeff alluded to my other comment, but, we see that, that's a great opportunity in the game space, combining blockchain. Also, as I mentioned, this company does a lot of work in developing content. Their management came out of some very big names in gaming, and, they've had exposure to people like Party Poker, some of the other majors, so they know their stuff, and we see a big emergence, obviously, and potentially not only in the blockchain and the game side content, but even adding some of the things that are going on in esports and having not only a pure play, but obviously bringing in different aspects of the gaming cycle, using these guys as a development team and using their skill set in terms of taking us to new levels in gaming. By combining the advantages of what we're doing with, graph topology on the blockchain side.
Yeah, we just have to now do board meetings on Twitch. we got to do the board, but it really is an amazing space where everything is going with e-gaming and esports, and it's something that I try to tell my audience that if you're a little bit older, you might not appreciate it. You might not appreciate. Like you said, Jeff, where the NFL might not exist in 20, 30 years. And people kind of laugh and chuckle about that. But you got to remind people that, within that space, absolutely massive arenas are being filled to watch people sort of underneath them like it would be a wrestling ring, but sitting there playing games that are then shown on the jumbotrons above them. And you're rooting for the players of these games the same way you'd be rooting for the all-stars of whether it's hockey, baseball, football, whatever it might be. And it is really interesting. And then you get into the sort of the idea of it being a safer sport, meaning that, with CTE and these things, we saw a big fight last night in the NHL where, the one Russian kid that OV beat up couldn't even stand up. And maybe there might just be a playoffs one day that, people are playing through joysticks. It's quite really a wild industry, and it's so exciting on more on the gaming and betting side, but for Graph blockchain to be involved in. I'm really excited by it all.
Well, we do appreciate your support on that, Todd, and we're equally excited. So keep your ears tuned. We don't see this as the last stop in the gaming space. I think we're going to use this as an opportunity to look at other exciting platforms that might be complementary and try and become more of a force in that space.
And are you going to is Graph Blockchain is going to be at the esports capital markets thing on April 24th?
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll be down there. As you may know, I'm on the board of a esports and e-gaming investment issuer that's going public called New Wave, and they're actually one of the sponsors at that event. So I'll be there with both hats on, and we're really excited. And I know Michael, with his relationships, we've got a lot of contacts, so we'll have a pretty busy day of meetings lined up, I'm sure.
Great. Well, people should go and follow Graph Blockchain at Graph Blockchain, a real simple name over there on Twitter, and a great website, graphblockchain.com as well. Michael and Jeff, I love these updates. I think it's really intriguing for people to know. Of course, G-Block, it's a publicly traded company. Always do your due diligence. And as a board member, obviously, there is a big connection there. So I'm never, ever encouraging anyone to do anything, but look into it. And if you like what you see, then let us know and tweet at us. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, time, bud. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for
Okay, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
This is the Todd Shapiro Show on Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.